Hello guys, this is Raza. Today's topic would be Veeam actually. The backup and recovery software Veeam. The reason choosing this topic is I recently, actually recently means last month, I passed the test to become a Veeam Certified Engineer, and here I'm going to show you right here, so you can see it actually here. It was in November actually. I passed the test, and I want to walk you guys through what it takes to be a Veeam certified engineer, and also, you know, why you want to invest in Veeam. Um, as usual, most of my videos are non-scripted. Basically, I don't prep myself for the video. I just decide, hey, you know what, today is today is the day we're gonna do the video on this topic. So I'm not prepared. Actually, I'm gonna prepare myself as we go. So actually, I'm gonna start with a about the Veeam, and if we look at the Magic Quadrant for data center backup and recovery software, um, right here. Let's see this one. Um, as you can see it, um, that's the Gartner 2016 Magic Quadrant for data center backup and recovery software, and you can see um, you have a what do you call it? The number one is Common Vault, number two is IBM, number three is Veritas, number four is EMC, number five is Veeam, and this is kind of tricky how you read this chart. Actually, you can see on the bottom. If you go from left to right to the bottom, it says the completeness of vision. Basically, this company has the vision, and you can see this company at TFO that has the vision. But if you look on the left side from bottom to top, it says ability to execute. So basically, this company has a good vision, but it cannot execute a strategy. So so that's why you see, for example, a common word which I heard is like it's 6 years in a row is number one on Gartner on list. But you can see the Veeam is picking up or moving pretty fast. And I know for sure, like, the reason Veeam is not on the top, among other things, there are like they need to have a backup solution for every scenario basically. So they just came out in version 9.5. They're offering a Office 365. So I think the Veeam is catching up pretty quickly, and soon is going to be on the top of the list. Um, so what I'm going to do, this is just the overview actually about the Veeam. So so let's see, move this thing out. Man, I gotta move this thing. All right, I'm gonna move this thing out of the way. So what we're gonna do actually, we're gonna go and see where to start basically. There are a couple of things, the Veeam certification is very valuable actually, and there are a couple of ways you can get certification. Is one, search the internet and download the dumps and read the dumps and pass the test, but as far as the knowledge is concerned, that's not the right way to do, because in 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 any organization, the backup and recovery is the lifeline. So if everything else fails, then you rely on a backup. If the backups are not done properly, that's the worst case scenario. So that's why it's a good idea to have a complete knowledge and a expertise, and then thinking about taking the test and passing the test. So what is the requirement for Veeam actually? Where to start? So the first thing is you go to the Veeam website and you register at the veeam.com. So let's go to veeam.com. So you go here, veeam.com, and you have to sign in actually. So I'm going to click on sign in. One moment. Okay, as you can see, I just sign in. If you are not registered, it's going to ask you to log in and sign in, create your own account. Basically, once you've done, signing in, and you can see it under product, the latest software version is 9.5, which actually just came out, I think, in December or maybe the end of November. And you can see right here, this is the new like Veeam agent for Microsoft Windows, Veeam agent for Linux, Veeam backup for Microsoft Office 365. So these are the new features. Um, so that's why I was saying, hey, the Veeam is actually, you know, coming up with new features. So in my opinion, Veeam going to be on on the top of the list. Um, Here actually you can download the software. Either you can download the Veeam Availability Suite, which include Veeam Backup and Replication, and also the monitoring software, which we're going to talk about it, or you can just download the Veeam Backup and Replication. Basically, you click on this link, and it's going to ask you basically, hey, you want to download this Veeam for a Hyper-V, or you're going to download for um, the VMware because the license depend on it. So if you want to listen to this video, you can. Otherwise, you can click here, download trial. I already downloaded the trial because it takes some time. So just to save the time, I already downloaded it. And once you download, they're gonna email you the um, um, the license file, and the license file is valid for 30 days with full functionality. So here's the software actually I downloaded under download. So they give you this the Veeam Availability Suite 9.5, the zip file, and I unzipped it. So you will see once you unzip it, you have two different products. One is the Veeam Backup and Replication. Other one is the Veeam One. So we're gonna start from Veeam Backup and Replication, and on this server, the one we are on, actually we have a C drive, and let's see if I have a D drive here for data or not. Yeah, I have the second drive, so I'm gonna make it online and make it initialize the disk. Normally I like to do GPT just because if you need to increase the size of the disk to much higher, you know, capacity, then you don't have to change anything. So right here, I'm going to click a simple new volume. Basically, this is E drive is fine. And here I'm going to say a data and next minute. So this server has two drives, C drives and a E drive. Okay, so this thing is done. And if I go under my computer here, and you can see that C drive and D drive. So it's pretty simple actually. I logged in the server 2012. Let's see. So this is server 2012 R2, and it is a a domain join server. It's not a domain controller. It's just join to the domain. And let's see. So we're gonna click here. see these two of them actually. If you go File, Option, View, and unhide this thing, so you see these are the ISO files. So this zip file, once you unzip it, it gives you two ISO files. One for Veeam backup and replication. The second one is Veeam 1. So let's start from this one. You can mount this thing and you run the setup as administrator. So this is just for testing actually. So in an actual environment, you have to actually plan it. Hey, how are you gonna do it? Um, your entire backup strategy in an organization, either as enterprise, the big enterprise, small enterprise, or small business. So let's start from here. So we're gonna click on Start Install actually, and we're gonna go through this wizard. Actually, to be a Veeam certified, it is required for you to take a class which is a 3 days class, and the MSRP price for that class is 3,000 US dollars. You might get discount. Um, okay, it's asking for a license file. I mean, I can put the license file later, so I'm just gonna click OK and use the free mode. Um, So right here you can see a Veeam backup and replication, Veeam backup catalog. So we're just going to take our default at this point, and the location is going to be C program file Veeam backup and replication. So we're not changing anything, we're just taking all the default at this point. And is asking for, you want to use a local system account or you want to use the administrative account. It says, hey, a system account is recommended, so we're going to follow with the recommendation at this point. Of course, this is just for our testing purposes. Um, so the Veeam backup and replication, or the Veeam, actually the entire software requires a SQL server. Um, you can install SQL Express. If it's a small environment, you can use a SQL Express. Um, but if you want to do it for an enterprise or big environment, you have to install basically the Veeam backup SQL server. I mean, you can install the SQL server. I think, what did I install here? Um, let's see here. So I have a SQL Server 2012. Um, so let's click on SQL Server. I don't think I have the management here. Um, we'll see that later. So right now I can choose the SQL Server, the with the Windows authentication account and the database name and Veeam backup. So what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to customize it. So give you guys the out of the box experience. So let's go click OK. I'm gonna click next. Um, blah blah blah. Configuration database, connect this database, select this database required. Okay, so we're just gonna go and use this database. And you can see here the catalog port is 9393, Veeam backup service port is 9392, and the secure connection port is 9401. So the reason this thing is important, it's not important when you're doing the test environment, but if you have a enterprise with security enabled and the firewall enabled, then you have to go to the network team and say, hey, by the way, we're gonna need these ports open. Because right now we are trying to install everything on one server, but in real environment, depending upon your size, you might want to spread the components on the different servers. So, and these things, you have to remember it because these might come uh, in the exam, like, hey, what is the catalog port number, or what is the Veeam backup service port? It's highly unlikely, but the way the Veeam set up their exam, it is very, very difficult actually. unless you have lots of experience and you have done your homework. So click next, and here is um, the data location. See, the Veeam is smart. It's detected your E drive. It said, you know what? Use the E drive for catalog folder, and use the C drive for your um, the write cache, basically. You know, we will know what is the power NFS and what is the guest file system catalog when we explore options and details. And obviously, you can browse it and change it. And check for update when the product is installed, and periodically you can uncheck this thing or you can check this thing, um, because this is also one of the exam question is like um, the Veeam by default will check what kind of updates. One of the thing is like, hey, if there's a newer version available, is that going to prompt you, or you have to go download yourself, or the Veeam console going to download it for you? So with all these options, so basically we're gonna say, okay, since we said we're gonna use the default installation, so we're gonna leave this thing checked. And let's see, you can see it right here. There's nothing special actually. Database name is Veeam Backup. SQL Server is this server itself, and these are the 3 ports we talked about it. And we're using the local system for installation. And my goal is to keep these videos under 20 minutes. So it's been like almost 17 minutes. I'm gonna pause this video and I'm gonna come back when this thing is installed. Okay guys, the setup is finished and it took almost 3.5 minutes. So we're gonna click OK and finish. And now we have an option to install a Veeam Backup Enterprise Manager, and this part is already installed. We can go ahead and install Veeam Backup, so Manager 2. See, Veeam Backup Enterprise Manager requires the license file. Um, Let me pause this video and get the license file. One moment. Alright guys, I see here's the Veeam license. See, when I downloaded the trial version, they sent me this file via email. So I'm gonna go here and select this thing, click OK, and next. So this right here, you can see it reinstalling a Veeam Backup in Enterprise Manager, and there's also option for Cloud Connect portal for a service provider. Let's see, what does it do? So we just selected that one. We talked about it. Hey, we're gonna keep it default, but in this case, eventually we're gonna need the cloud connector. So we just installed. All right. So here's the deal. This is also one of the exam question. Um, is like when you installing Veeam Backup software and some of the components are missing, the prerequisites is missing, what do? You go and install it and then rerun it, or just the installer install it. So right here you can see it. Most of them are missing, so we can just click here and install it. So basically the Veeam Backup Enterprise Manager setup will check, and whatever is missing, it gives you the option to install it. I said I'm going to keep this video for under 20 minutes, but it's almost 19 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's see how long it's going to take. I can pause the video, or I just want you guys to see it too. What does it do? Because this is one of the most important part when installing. And it didn't take long, and see it's installed everything and it's all passed. So click next. So these are the standard settings like port 9080 or for HTTP and 9443, and the RESTful API is for 9399. Cloud Connect port is 6433, and this is the self-signed certificate. And right here you can see a service port 9394 and the system account we're using it. Um, so we're not going to change. We could change the settings, but we don't have to. So we'll click next and install it. And for this installation, it should be pretty fast because it's just the enterprise manager. So why we need a backup enterprise manager? Basically, manager, you will need it for a couple of reasons. If you have a more than one location, for example, you install, the software, then this can like federate your, like multiple environment. You can actually see it from one console. And also, when we're gonna go through with the Veeam feature, you will see there is a password option when you encrypt data. So for in some cases, if you lose the license key or or the key, and then you know instead of locking yourself out, the enterprise manager will give you an option to retrieve that key if that backup server is being added or managed by the enterprise manager. So that's a little complicated, but we will get to it. And also, I mean, the enterprise manager is like you can set the alerts for email alerts for backup jobs, like globally. You can set up for global for all the jobs. So when you're setting up a backup jobs for individual server, you can define it like, hey, when this job is successful, send me an email. But you can also set a globally, like, hey, whatever job is done, regardless which server, send me an email. Okay, so it's starting the services and this thing is finished. So we install, I don't know why, okay, why this thing's still saying you need to install, and did I click on it again? I didn't want to, so I'm gonna cancel this thing. So let's see, this is the Veeam backup and replication console. See, this is using a port 9392 and logging into the local host and using a Windows session authentication because that's what we chose. And you can click here and save the shortcut right here. It did it right here to a connect to localhost, and you say connect. So it says basically, hey, 29 days left for Veeam evaluation. And also, um, when you run it the first time, it's checking this server where we install it. It says, hey, by the way, the mount server, the updates are required. And what is the mount server? We're going to talk about it later. So all component has been upgraded. Maybe it gives you that option because earlier I have the Veeam 9.5 the trial version installed on this one, which I removed it. So probably that's why it detected some leftover. So here you go. And basically we're gonna get back to it in a second. So right here you see we done with Veeam backup and replication, and this was install, and this was the enterprise manager. And for documentation you can click here. It will take you to the website where you have all the documentation you need. Actually, the administrator guide is a pretty good document, user guide, and release notes. You can download right here. Let's see if you can save the target as. So we're just going to save that on the desktop. Save it. And Veeam Cloud Service Provider Program, you can download this one too. And the release notes. There you go. You download, they all are downloaded, so you click on it. Um, what we can do it, actually, you can create a folder, Veeam documents, and we can move this thing from here to here, this one too, and you can see it's the PDF file is not, PDF reader is not, Acrobat reader is not installed. That's why it doesn't give you the icon, which I will install it later. I'm going to minimize it. So, and here's the training actually. So when you go to you click on the link. If you can sign in. If you don't have to sign in, you can log in and create your own account. And then it's a free online training, and it gives you a step-by-step what is required for Veeam certified engineer to become a Veeam certified engineer right here. And it's a pro partner universities, meaning if you are a partner with Veeam, um, then you have some more features available. This is just for partner because I am part of the pro partner, so that's why I see this option. Um, so I'm gonna close this thing, um, and then we're gonna go. Let's see, close this thing in a. Let's go back to our installation, and not this one. I'm sorry. I'm gonna eject this one, and I'm gonna go to our downloads, Veeam, and the Veeam one. Mount this one, and run a setup. So normally you go and run it, and I'm going to talk about the agent in a second. So we installing full functionality for Veeam 1. It needs the license files. The good part is the one license file works for all products. And you can do a typical or advanced. You need advanced. For example, this is also a very important from knowledge perspective or exam perspective, like how many different um, you know uh, options are available for when you're installing a Veeam 1. So this is a pretty um, um, important to know. Hey, this is the typical and advanced. These two options for Veeam 1 setup. And we will go through like when do you need a typical install and when do you have to do the advanced install. Um, but right now, let's take the typical and move on. And okay, so it needs a report and what's come from the API. So the same thing, you're gonna click on install, everything comes with the package. You don't have to go yourself and look for those updates. It does it for you. The only thing is when you installing, make sure you have the administrative rights, because if you don't, then you can't. The installation will fail. So this need the domain credential because it has to go. It cannot use the default the system account. Okay. Okay, so it needs a same thing for it needs a SQL database, and which is the Veeam one. It created by itself. Windows authentication, credential service account, or we can use the SA account, but we're gonna use the same authentication account, the Windows authentication account. And here, if you have a certificate, you can assign it. If not, then you can use the self-sign. I'm going to take the default for now. And again, remember the port 1239 and 1340. We got too many ports number to remember. So here it gives you actually the option, um, depending on your environment, if you have a VMware vCenter or you have a Hyper-V host or with failover of failover cluster or SCVMN, System Center Virtual Machine Manager, which is for Hyper-V, or you can skip this thing and you can do it later. I know for sure I have a vCenter, so it's going to ask me for vCenter credential. And for backup server, so this backup server is asking for the same thing, so I'm going to do the same thing, like I'm using a domain account. Now here is the option. See the data collection mode. Data collection mode is how the Veeam 1 will collect the data about your environment. Why Veeam 1 needs the data, and we'll talk about it because it will give you the um, the bigger picture of your environment. So this one is from typical environment is for 100 hosts and 1500 VMs, optimized for advanced scalability deployment, more than 100 hosts and 1500 VMs, and backup data only. So we're gonna choose the optimized one for now. Basically saying, hey, just get the backup data. We don't need anything else. So right here we don't have 100 hosts anyway. So and right here. So just to recap for this, what we did actually, we went to veeam.com, we downloaded a Veeam and backup software. It emailed us the registration key or license key for 30 days with full functionality. We actually unzipped that um, the zip file, the Veeam availability suite 9.5. Then under unzip, we got two, ISOs, one for Veeam backup and replication and one for Veeam 1. Under Veeam backup and replication, we installed the Veeam backup and replication software and the a enterprise console, and this was the Veeam 1 installation, which has the option for, typical or advanced. We chose the typical one. So, so in this video, basically, we did nothing except downloading the software and installing it. And while this is installing it, you can see it like this is the one, Veeam and backup replication. This is the second one, Veeam Enterprise Manager. This is the Veeam, the self-service file restore. And this is the customized link when you click on the Veeam backup and replication to log into localhost. It says, hey, you want to save that? So we just saved it. So next time we click on it, it will go straight. It's not going to ask you anything. And we're going to see another icon pretty soon for Veeam 1. Actually, it's going to show us a more than one. It's going to give us like 3 different icons. Actually, you can see right here, Veeam 1 monitor, Veeam 1 reporter. And after that, I think we need to install one more thing, which we can install it from the ISO, or we can install it under Veeam 1 console. So it's going to create another icon here, naming the Veeam 1 business. Here, you see, you got Veeam 1 Business. So Veeam 1 is for reporting purposes. Veeam Backup and a Veeam Enterprise and this Veeam self-service file is for managing it. Um, you need to log off. Would you like to do it now? So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to end this video right here. And I'm going to create a, like it's going to take a lot of videos to go through with all the features. So this one going to be the part 1 basically, and let's see how many videos we're going to make. And hey, thank you very much for watching this this video, and if you like it, please subscribe, and thank you very much.